Hey guys! So today I want to talk about knives. Not that, that's just a glorified toothpick. No. The knife I want to talk about today is this. Now there's a real knife. So this is among one of my favorite knives in my collection. This is a knife that was produced by a local knife makers, hand-produced by a man named Neil Keller. He operated in southern Alberta. I don't believe he's in business anymore, unfortunately, but shortly before he went out of business, he produced this for me. Now this is, he simply referred to it as his Mountain Man Bowie knife. And the first thing you might notice is, Chaos, why are you holding it by the edge like that? Well, that is because this knife, as intimidating as it may seem, is not designed for what you might think. You can see by the fact I'm running my hand along the blade right here and not hurting myself that there is in fact no edge on this. It may appear as if there is, but there is not. This does not have what is referred to as a live edge. Any knife that has a sharp edge and is meant for typical knife uses has what's called a live edge in the knife making world. This knife does not. It does, however, have a very sharp point. And the reason for that is that this knife was designed for competition throwing. I have been throwing knives and axes since I was 12 or so, and I have participated in a tournament or two for knife throwing, and I purchased this knife for those purposes, for tournament throwing, for single throw tournaments. And it is designed to be thrown. It may look very intimidating and like a Bowie and like it's designed for hunting or processing an animal, but the balance of the knife, which is crucial to any knife, that is where the majority of the weight is, lends itself more to a thrower than a lot of other different knives would. Most of the weight in this hefty blade is actually back here, right here, in the handle and a little bit forward of the handle. Transition is right here. It's a well-balanced knife and is meant to be thrown from the handle, which is what you want when you are throwing a knife from the handle. You want the weight to be down here because that allows the rotation to occur faster. And therefore makes the probability of you sticking it into the wooden target more likely. I've had this knife a few years now. It is a reliable knife. It is made out of steel, solid 1095 steel, I believe it is, which is a very hard, very strong steel. However, while it's hard and strong, like any other steel, it is prone to corrosion and rust and requires occasional maintenance. Now, I've shown you the blade. I suppose I should also show you the sheath, because that is also important, and one of my favorite parts about this knife is this awesome leather sheath, which was also produced by a local leather worker. It was not the same man who produced this. This sheath was produced by another man in Black Diamond, and this sheath was also produced specifically for competition throwing. You'll notice the belt loop on it is a bit strange. It is at an angle. And that is so that when it hangs on your belt, the blade is hanging at an angle rather than sitting straight up and down as a traditional knife sheath would. It doesn't sit like this. It sits like this. And that is to make removing the knife and bringing it to a throwing position where you could throw it quicker. This is what is known as a quick draw sheath. If you've seen any old westerns, you might notice that cowboys used to holster their firearm in a similar way, at an angle, 45-degree angle. It's to make removing it easier. This knife has the same premise, and that is because this knife was designed specifically for competition, and one of the big categories in knife throwing competitions nowadays is quick draw. Almost every knife throwing tournament will have a quick draw event, and that's what I got this knife designed for, is to be drawn and thrown as quickly as possible. I've not won any prizes or beaten any records yet. I haven't had much opportunity to practice, unfortunately, given that knife throwing requires an outdoor space, targets, and all of this. And in Canada especially, it's a very seasonal affair. Not something, unless you have enough room inside to set up an indoor range, you can really do. But I look forward to using it, hopefully this July, at the next knife throwing tournament. So yeah, that is my my Neil Keller Mountain Man Bowie. And it's one of my favorite knives ever.